Hello, welcome to episode 4 of Unlearnt. And today we have Mohamad with us, and we're going to be talking about all things Afghanistan related because he's the expert. Mohamad, please tell us what you do, who you are, everything.
All right, perfect. So, hi to you, Jess. I live in UK. I'm from Afghanistan. I moved there in 2007 with my family, and I've been living there since. And I go back to Afghanistan like every 2, 3 years just for like family visits and stuff like that. So currently I'm in Serbia, traveling around Europe, just time of COVID. So currently in Afghanistan, what happened is the U.S. forces left Afghanistan, or they're leaving, and they're in transition. Not only U.S., the NATO's, and all the other joint forces from all the other European countries are leaving Afghanistan in 2021. So they made this decision, just like a rapid decision, while COVID is still on uncontrolled. So they're leaving at the moment. So this is what we're going to discuss today. Hopefully, the viewers have interest.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I thought for people that don't know anything about Afghanistan or American involvement in that area, you could give a brief summary of why troops were there in the first place, maybe?
Yeah, sure. So it's been 20 years since the U.S. is from basically 9/11, 2001 till now. They've been there and they spent over $2 trillion since from this whole
Hmm.
transition. And many soldiers lost their life from all over the country, like UK, US, Germany, and so the effort they wanted to eradicate, like completely get rid of the Taliban thing, and in the same time put some democracy in Afghanistan, which worked, like from the start to now. It's so at the start it was good, then the Taliban lost their power, so it was kind of helpful, and then afterward, to the last 10 years, I would say it's been kind of the same every day. So it hasn't been a massive improvement, but we still have some forces. They normally have, like in the city, so they have these big, like, let's say, so in the middle of the city, they have a little town, and they call it, and they live there, and then they have walls all around it, so safety wise. So they literally they stay there like guests basically. It's not like, and then all the hard work is the local people does all the military fighting. The first since like the first this 5 years, but before that they were in the front lane. But the Afghan soldiers are pretty stepping up. So the reason why they decided to leave now is that it's kind of expensive, and they realize there's not much future to this. And after they had a peace talk with the Taliban, they said they just came to this conclusion: if the U.S. leaves, the Taliban promise they're going to be better. And they're not going to interfere too much.
So
And
in the beginning, the Taliban kind of came to power. No one really
yeah,
likes them. So America
yeah,
decides to step in and
yeah.
try to make their power a bit less, but then they kind of become friends, kind of. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, right at the end they become friends, but during as well, so it's a bit confusing. So sometimes, like you don't know where the Taliban's get their weapons from, where they get their ammunitions, where they get some, So it's a bit of like, yeah, it's a bit like, so sometimes Taliban goes over, and then the Americans is like, it's a bit of a clash. But different regions in Afghanistan, because we have borders with many countries,
Yeah.
so it's a bit hard to control. So you can have people just coming in. We don't have actual borders as well, so you can just like come to Afghanistan, no problem.
Okay. And so you're saying that the reason America's left now, decided to leave, is because they've come to some sort of weird agreement with the Taliban, and Taliban's agreed to treat Afghanistan better. What does that exactly mean?
So that's one of the reasons. So in the peace talk, they said if you let some of our soldiers go from prison, so they left around 5,000 soldiers from the prison, so they released them. Taliban's, the Afghan government released them because of that peace talk. They had this agreement, and then the Taliban said we're gonna do this, so we're gonna stop making bombs, whatever. So that was one of the agreement. The second one was to remove all the foreign troops from Afghanistan, and the U.S. agreed to it. And at the same time, U.S. wanted some kind of deal like this because if they voluntarily just leave, and then something happens in the future, they'll be like, okay. don't blame us. You guys made the deal,
Yeah.
and then at the same time, it's expensive for them. The war for these guys, especially at the time of COVID, where Corona is so high, businesses are crashed. So it doesn't make sense for US to stay any longer. They're finding better opportunities elsewhere, I guess.
So are Afghani people happy about the fact that the Taliban's now solely going to be in control and America's left?
So the government is 50-50. So they used to get a lot of grants from Americans, but you see with the grants, it's like a lot of countries, people, even Afghanistan, don't know. So when a country gives you a grant, they give you into the certain projects that's related to all that is
Mm,
benefit to them. So they'll give you, let's say, 50 million grant to buy this land and build this thing for the Americans.
yeah, yeah,
But then
yeah.
the news of the Afghan news will say, "Oh, America just gave us 50 million. Oh my God, this is crazy." But then the reality, that money is never touches the local people, and it just goes back to something to do with them. So the government's 50-50 in terms of they might not get enough money, but they're a bit shaky, but they agree and they respect their decision. So they want to try it out. It's something different. So let's see how it goes. The local people. Uh, Half of them are happy about it. Okay,
Mm,
the reason why, because they want to see some change. And for me personally, I feel like if Afghanistan, like let's just say you have this older brother always in a fight that's helping you out, but now he's not there, so you're gonna get stronger yourself and then be more
right.
intelligent. So US was like an older brother to Afghanistan. Now hopefully the Afghan soldiers will get stronger, smarter, and like be more independent and realize nobody's gonna back them up. So then they have to step up the game. That's very important.
Right, okay. And so it
Yeah.
seems like you're saying Afghanistan's kind of being reborn a little bit and having to
Yeah.
develop its own strength and ground because well, it's just been this puppet for everyone else to kind of being used. So what's going to happen now, long term wise, do you think, because America's left?
So long term, I believe that I think like just like Iraq and Syria, like the U.S. forces left completely, but they have very small amount. And what happened is the foreigners they support the local government and they give them money for like they give them weapons, ammunitions. I
Yeah.
think Afghanistan will do the same. It will come to peace, like it will be good. I think this transition, like, has been very good from my point of view. And looking at Iraq, for example, they don't have any soldiers. American reason why? If America really wanted to help, they'll just give them money, and then they'll use that for defense forces to defend their country. Like who's gonna back you up more, your brother or your cousin? Your brother will be your more. So the real soldiers from Iraq will protect the country better than an American soldier, even if they have less ammunition, whatever. Same thing with Afghanistan. If the U.S. don't help this local, if they just help with guns, because I was looking at the news, they in terms of military equipment, they're kind of low on those kind of things. So they're actually building a few stuff. They're improvising and improving. Uh, in the long run, I think it's good for Afghanistan, and they will get better.